is Julia Ehrt. I'm the director of Transgender Europe. We are a network of trans organizations across Europe. And today is the day on which my community, all across the globe, remembers the trans victims of violence, in particular, the trans victims of murder. Today is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. And unfortunately, 2 minutes won't be enough to expand on the gender-based violence trans people experience across the EU and globally on a daily basis, and it won't be enough to expand on the intersectional nature of that violence. However, more than 2,600 trans murders globally and more than 120 murders in Europe that my organization monitored over the last decade was not severe enough to grant me a 5-minute speaking slot. This fact, and the fact that anti-trans violence has not been mentioned at this conference so far only once, shows how ignorant the discourse around gender-based violence is in regard to anti-trans violence. And that is, although anti-trans violence concerns predominantly female-presenting trans people, and that is although anti-trans violence is gender-based violence, and that is although anti-trans violence has the same root causes as violence against cis women, and that is gender stereotypes and a society in which women and gendered minorities have less access to power, have less access to resources, and, have less access to independent decisions. And in that vein, I can very strongly relate to what Mary Beard has said earlier today, that women are often not being listened to, that they are silenced. And I can relate to that as a woman out there, but I can relate that as well as a trans feminist in many female spaces. Because as a social rights movement, the women's movement should not forget about the most marginalized of its members, trans people, migrants, sex workers, poor women, women of color and Roma women. Women and the women's movement strive for equality, but that has to be equality for all. And if we want to be true to our cause, we need to send a consistent message. We cannot afford to leave anyone behind.